Hey guys, it's Jimmy here with Locals Surfshop, here to drop another board review. Before we start, I want to make sure that you guys go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button so that we can get more of these done for you. Today we have the Tomo Revo in Firewire construction. It is Ibolic construction. Ibolic is a newer construction from Firewire surfboards. It is a standard EPS core, but on Ibolic, what they're doing is using high density foam for a stringer, tip to tail, controlling linear flex. You're using high density foam rails instead of the wood rail, and you have high density nose and tail blocks, and actually the fin biscuits are set inside high density foam. So it's not just the fin box sitting in EPS foam. It's the biscuit is cut out, dropped in a high density foam, and then the fin box is resting in that. The bottom, you're gonna see, if you look closely, you can see the EPS. So it is just, a regular fiberglass bottom with epoxy cloth. And if you flip it over and look at the deck, they are utilizing a high density deck here. So it's gonna prevent you from getting footwells. It also helps control the flex over the deck of the board, similar to like a snowboard. This was one of my favorite boards. I recently sold it, but might be regretting it. So this is actually the size that I ride. It's a 5.5, 28.5 liters. The super cool thing about this board is it's pretty much a quad. I mean, you can ride it as a thruster if it gets really big and squirrely, but even as a quad, it will just about handle anything. So let's get into it. Like I said, this is a Tomo by Daniel Thompson. It is done in Firewire construction. It's the Revo, so it's like a redo of the Evo. The Evo was super fun, but really, really loose, and it was kind of like riding a horse bareback. You never really were in control. Did lots of cool, fast stuff, but this kind of tamed that board, basically pulling the nose shape and tail shape in a little bit of the original outline of the Evo. And the biggest thing here is the bottom contours. So the original Evo had a quad inside single concave, which meant it kept on dipping down, 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 driving air underneath the board and lifting the fins. That made it super fun, but again, sometimes squirrely. What I'm seeing here is basically that we still have 4 concaves, like a quad inside single concave, but we have a deep V, so that falls from center towards the rail. Basically, as you have water entering the board, it starts to split it down these 4 different concaves till it reaches the channels, and the back drives the water through the fin along each channel and out the back. These channels back here in the rear are basically grabbing the water, so as you enter a turn and come through, the tail will hold instead of releasing. The board, because of its width in the front, paddles super easy. I would give it probably a 20%, 30% maybe. More just innate ability to pick up speed. I mean, you get to your feet and the board is just going. Sometimes like where you can't even, you're like, whoa, I mean, what a great trait to have in Florida where our waves are just mush, and you really need that speed, and especially that paddle speed and takeoff speed to get that first little clip in, and then down the line. So yeah, the speed, the inherent speed that's built into the surfboard is just incredible. So one of the key traits here of a Tomo is that the rails are very parallel to one another. This allows for water to just fly down that rail. Water doesn't like to be bent. If it goes in a radius, it's going to slow itself down. So I don't know exactly the magic that he works to be able to get the rails to be kind of parallel to one another and also allow the board to go in to a smooth arc. It might have something to do with this outside concave, but it's pretty incredible to ride a board that has almost a straight rail that can still go into a full arc. Like I said, we're mainly going to ride it as a quad because of that V. The one cool thing about this is with a Tomo, typically you need to ride it really small because it does have so much air driving through the fins. On this particular model, you can actually ride it higher volume. So if you always wanted a Tomo, but you wanted the ease of catching waves and the ability to get in early, there's no problem here with riding the board a liter, a liter and a half, even 2 liters higher than what you're used to, because the V is going to tame that overall volume down and allow the board to stay rested in the water. So I think this board's really good for a giant range of people, right? You can ride it really big and it's really fast. Ride it as a quad, great down the line speed for Florida and the rest of the East Coast. If you're an advanced surfer and you want speed for AIRS and you want to be able to, let's get into AIRS real quick. And just big floaters, any free falling, late drops. This channeled concave bottom really allows for the breakup of energy as you hit on the flats, right? So if you go up and do a big air and you land and you have a single concave or even a double concave, that barreling traps air. When you hit, it bounces. Opposite here, all these breakups in the bottom, and especially the V, as you land on a flat surface, it basically boom, and then disperses energy, disperses energy, disperses energy. So you don't get that hard slamming effect. So if you're wanting to do start getting and doing AIRS, or you're doing big floaters, this is going to be a board that's going to allow you to do that. And if you're at that stage, I would say ride this very small as you can. Again, I'm 6'1", 165. I'm riding this at 28.5 liters, which is like my optimum volume. All right, so summing it up, the Tomo Revo by Firewire Surfboards is extremely fast, very easy paddler, and just super fun board all around. I highly suggest, if you haven't tried something like this, this might be the one to try. It's just a lot of benefits here, and you can't really argue that, I know it's unconventional looking. I know it doesn't look like a normal surfboard, but it just does so much more than a normal surfboard. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, do it in the comments below, and we'll be trying to get back to you. Thanks.